Echo Point Nova is a game about Max Payne Tony Hawking it through Minecraft Skyblock Pathfinder Edition.
My abilities are malfunctioning.
But if you weren't sold by all of that, between your grappling hook, hoverboard, and performance-enhancing rocket launcher, this game has some of the most insane movement I've ever seen. And at this point, I've dug up enough movement shooters to become what the local archaeologists call a nuisance to the dig site. They become a geologist though. Turns out, they just give you a degree after pelting 100 stray dogs. But your movement can only get you so far if you can't aim for shit at higher speeds, so it's important to pace yourself so you can actually hit the living aim trainer targets that are actively trying to turn you into a fleshy example of trypophobia. The guns in this game range from meh to my poorly disguised fetish. And you start off with the best one, and nothing else, because you have to go out there and find them. Every one of these orange pillars is a scan you can do. A scan being you saying something people like is kinda mid on Twitter and having to kill enough Milsim cosplaying keyboard warriors that they leave you alone. And as a reward for surviving the horde, you get either a perk or a new weapon. You can equip perks to gain some small benefits that add up quick if you find the right combos. But finding those combos and trying to makeshift a build together with the perks and weapons you have is half the fun, because you don't know what the reward will be from each scan you do, unless you're a freak that ruins the fun by reading the wiki like it's the Bible. Each gun also has its own upgrades that you unlock after getting enough kills with them. Usually it's something small like bigger mag or a hollow sight, but it's still cool seeing your gun change and upgrade as you use it. Look, I can already hear the Ultrakill players snickering about how Echo Point doesn't have the uber below high autism tech, but you better pipe down before I hide all your stuff at the top of your fridge.
Oh, dude. All I can do is pour a cup of Monster and calm the fuck down. I'll try, but no guarantee.
The game also has something I can really only call Skyrim level design.
Do you get to the Cloud District very often?
The lusty Argonian maid.
Where if you see an island that looks cool, you can just go there. Be careful where you step though, because just like in America, the further south you go, the better armed and heavier the enemies are going to be. Add that on top of being in a Super Mario level, and you're gonna have a rough time. The environment is also fully destructible and will get more and more roughed up as you play. There's even a section in the story where the game just straight up tells you to dig under a door to show you that the cops are preoccupied and you can do whatever the fuck you want. That, combined with some indoor sections and button hunting, makes sure you don't get tired of flying through the air at Mach whatever. There are also caches hidden around that have hats or relics on them. Finally, TF2 isn't the only game in the hat-like genre that I just made up. Collecting either hats or relics will let you equip more perks, so they're always worth going out of your way for. There are also these green orbs littered around that you collect to unlock new movement abilities and pay off crooked politicians for tax benefits. You can also find these giant Shadows of the Colossus type boss battles. All you have to do to have your own little David and Goliath moment is to break their precious red orbs, and since every boss is shaped like an animal, let's not think too closely on what those red orbs represent. My own theory is that it's a giant game of operation, except the only win condition is total organ failure. You can choose to go slowly, take out every enemy and turret while staying on the ground like a fucking nerd, or you can speed through using the outside of the boss to fling yourself where you need to go. Another great example of the game throwing you tools and just telling you to figure it the fuck out. So if you think about it, Echo Point Nova is actually an immersive sim. Sure, why not? The game is technically over after defeating all the 4 bosses, but then the entire map will be repopulated with newer and harder scans. This isn't your average shitty New Game Plus either. Each scan now has a mix of modifiers on it, and they can range from look at their silly little hats and the guns now leave paintball marks, to enemies can only take damage from headshots, enemies can only be damaged while midair, and no gaining health from any sources. There are also some that are just thrown in there to have fun, like having more enemies or just turning the scan into a round of gun game. It feels like the extremely base game devs just really wanted to add some fun small shit and then accidentally doubled the length of the game, and I 100% recommend that you complete the post-story scans too. And if all of that wasn't enough, there's also a completely separate roguelike mode too, complete with unlimited perk slots, random weapons, and meta progression, because this is a good game. There's also some other stuff that I couldn't fit into this review, like how the game is fully co-op and already has Steam Workshop integration, but I think you get the gist. What's even more impressive is that this whole game was made by an extremely small team. Who would have known that very few passionate people can make a better game than AAA companies? And if this game looks familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen Severed Steel, the previous game from this studio. If only someone made an embarrassingly bad review of it that's now hidden. Either way, Echo Point Nova is one of the best movement shooters I've ever played, and you'd be doing a small team and yourself a huge favor for picking it up.